No, no, you do not understand. We need to cover it next week. Next week. Not 3 weeks from now, not in February. Street Fighter 4 on the 1UP show next week. Okay, that's fine. I've called 17 times. And you know what? I'll call another 17 times until we get the damn game on the show. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I want you to repeat that to me. You understand what I'm telling you, because it's what needs to happen. Okay? All right. Hey, what's up, dude? What's up, guys?
What's up?
How you doing?
Dude, you seem kind of angry on the phone.
Oh, it's fine. Just giving him the old J-Fresh backhand.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
You
Nice.
said. Yeah, just hold it down.
I mean, I appreciate the work you did on the show last week. It was great. I'm thinking about taking like 3 more vacations in the next couple months. If you,
That sounds wonderful.
yeah, it sounds really wonderful for me. I'm looking forward to it.
You can go back to being happy, J-Fresh.
Yeah, you don't need to be all angry and ruthless anymore.
Yep.
We'll take all the blame. We'll do all the dirty work.
Thank God, man. I gotta tell you, man. I think we pull it together, but
Yep.
I don't know. What's up
Now
for
you
this
did
week?
good work. You did good. Dude, you just threw one on the ground?
I did.
Do you really need another one?
Why not have another one?
Well,
It's been a stressful week, Matt.
that's true.
It's been really tough
Come
this
on,
week.
dude. Cigarettes don't help. Cigarettes raise your heart rate. They make you more stressed out, not less stressed out.
They make
it
me
worse, man.
feel
They
wonderful.
don't make it better.
I feel wonderful.
All right, well.
I am not a quitter.
Dude, that it's still glowing red, man. Like you didn't even finish it.
There we go. No one likes a quitter.
Quit. Just
Nobody
quit.
likes a quitter.
Dude, Ryan quit.
I
You
quit.
can quit.
Yeah, but every time, like, I remember trying the gum. That was a disaster. I remember trying the patch. I am Turok! Yeah! And that didn't work at all. That was just a mess.
Yeah, that never works for anybody.
And I mean, every time I've tried to quit, I always end up doing something else. Like I end up like just replacing that habit for another habit and doing that in excess. So it's just at the end of the day, I might as well just have cigarettes.
You don't need to be such a butthead. That's all there is to it. You're a butthead.
I'm telling you guys, I
You're
just
a
don't see it
butthead.
happening.
Butthead. You should quit.
Anyway.
We're not gonna call you J-Fish anymore. We're gonna call you Butthead.
All right, butthead. I missed you guys.
We miss you too.
All right, I'll see you up there. See you
Quit.
later.
Think about it.
You should quit smoking.
仕事へ行きたくない学校なんかつまんないみんなで一緒にテレビゲーム遊びたいどこでも行っても同じだみんなで歌うんだみんなで一緒にテレビゲーム遊んだらどうだら One up show を見ましょう One up show で遊ぼう One up show Wow すごい One up show やったよこれは One up show です
So yeah, I think that'll be good for the show this week.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll do it. Hey, you guys need anything from downstairs? It is smoke time.
Oh, dude, no. Wait. Here, look.
What?
I got this for you.
You got what for me?
My Stop Smoking Coach with Alan Carr. It's a ROM for the
That
DS.
is not
We're just
a that's not
no,
real.
Seriously, I challenge you to go downstairs, stand where you normally smoke,
Right.
and do this instead of having a cigarette. And see what happens.
Fine.
I'll give you my DS, and you can do that instead of smoking. Just try it. I'm serious.
Go get your DS, please. Please do that. Because I'm sure this is going to be a great idea. It's going to work wonderfully. The fuck is Alan Carr?
Knock it down! You hit its weakness!
Here's our chance. Let's go. Okay. Give it up.
What are the differences between this and Persona 3? I'm curious.
Persona 3, it was
basically it's one huge dungeon that you go across, over the course of like a 100-hour game, basically. In this game, they redid the design where, every month or so you go to a new dungeon. It's only about 10 floors, so it's a lot more manageable for people who are new to the game, I think.
And also they have interesting themes.
Yeah.
They're all different from each other and based on the personalities of the characters who are in the dungeon.
Yeah, Persona 3 was basically the same theme, the same music all the time.
And you already saw hints of that dungeon changing in like Fez, in the answer, because they were like kind of split up dungeons and like separate doorways and stuff. And so I'm glad that they finally like went full on and did that sort of separation.
A lot of your enjoyment of this game is going to depend on how much you can stand these really hardcore JRPG like norms. The first 3 or 4 hours I was not enjoying it really that much, but then once you get past that, the dungeons are so interesting and the battle system is so interesting. Capturing the personas and fusing them and stuff, like I really got into that part of it. And also, I think that the town exploration does become a lot more interesting after you start unlocking the social stuff and you start realizing how you need to build relationships with other people. I actually really enjoyed that. So, I mean, I was able to forgive the first 3 or 4 slow hours.
Yosuke's cool and all, but there really is something different about you. I feel like you won't let me down.
How did you approach like the social link stuff? Because there are gameplay rewards for getting closer to people. They're even more, obvious this time, because like someone will take a mortal blow for you in battle or something like that.
I didn't really approach it from that at all. It was much more of like, I was interested in certain characters. I wanted to spend more time with those characters and develop relationships with those characters. Like the character you build a social link with in the drama club.
Yeah, see.
I found her really interesting, so I would choose to go to the drama club rather than, say, basketball practice because I was more interested in seeing how that story progressed.
That was one case where I did sort of approach it from like I wanted to hang out with the people that I liked, and luckily those are the people in your parties.
This game like really has one of the best presentations like I've ever seen. Ever since P3, they've really built on that even, which is just like this completely like solid colors, pop art, even menus and sort of thing.
And the music too. I mean, it's like just ridiculous, like some like jazzy J-pop theme with some female singer. It's like you wouldn't think that would work as a dungeon theme, but it does in this case. Ray and I, we're like sort of Japanophiles and we know the language a bit.
I have my calculator. It's the Japanophile's choice.
That's right. But what was your take on it, coming from someone who doesn't know Japanese?
There were definitely some parts that were a little bit confusing. It didn't really like negatively impact my gameplay at all, and it was kind of actually interesting just insofar as like looking at another culture, and I feel like I probably learned a little bit about Japanese culture.
No, I think it's a very good cultural primer because like I went to a small town in high school as an exchange student. It was very similar to that lifestyle. So, I mean, if anyone wants to see what it's like to be an exchange student, in a rural town, just, spend $40 and, play this game. Yeah.
All right, let's have a toast. So, your mom and dad are busy as always.
One of the things that I found really difficult about it, when you get a critical hit, or an enemy gets a critical hit, or if they use a spell that you're weak against, they get to take another turn. And there were certain points, there were certain battles, like if I would get against the wrong combination of enemies, they could just kind of get me into this chain where they were doing like critical hits against all of my guys or critical spells against all of my guys and doing turns over and over and over again. And there was at least 1 or 2 times I died after being in a dungeon for quite a long time without saving.
That's why you warp in and warp out every time. That's actually improved from Persona 3, where, when you got knocked down, you couldn't get it back up for another turn. They fixed that, they fixed it where like guys will heal you. There's so many ways out if you're intelligent with their tactics. I can't think of a time where like I thought that the death was unfair, which happened a lot in Persona 3.
And they do like present like these fail-safes to you, like when you can assign a character to like save you. Like do you control everybody manually?
First, when I went through the normal mode the first time through, I turned on direct control just because I want to play it like a normal RPG. Going through expert, I actually turned on AI just to give it more challenge, and I felt like the AI was actually more intelligent, and I have not had any problems so far. So I think if you want to play either way, you have the sense that you can. This game is as large as something that Square Enix or Nintendo would do.
Yeah.
For someone who came from localization, I don't think people understand like how difficult it is to put together a game like localize a game like this in 6 months with the amount of resources and people that Atlas has. Like, they're a very small company. They do as well as anyone. I feel like a lot of the smaller companies should look to their lead and say, you can do it. You know, you don't have to be a huge company with a huge budget in order to create a great localization. Like, it is possible. You just have to put the right people in place.
Plus, this is like a Japanese RPG on like multiple levels.
Yeah.
As we said, to have to like not so much fix, but certainly deal with like the nuances and like honorifics in the language and things like that. And how they sort of adapt those into our language.
Better not get any ideas about hitting on him. Tell him your name, kid, and make it quick. Huh, that's it. You're on my shit list. Effective immediately.
It's clear that these people are in a Japanese culture, but yet you still, get that sense where, it's a colloquial speech that we can get. So we understand that they're Japanese people talking, but yet, they use phrases that, we get.
I definitely did feel like the characters here were really realistic, interesting. Like I said, I wanted to get to know them more, which is what drove me on the social link aspect, which I wasn't expecting going into the game. And I don't really expect that from most JRPGs, so I was really impressed with that.
My only complaint is really that at this point they still don't take those relationships into the main story. Like, if I have a girlfriend, like, she's not really my girlfriend in the main story. Like, they can't implement that quite yet. So if they're gonna take it to the next level, I feel like your choices in the game are reflected in the main story somewhat, because they just totally, get how to do a game like this, how to combine RPG with social simulation, where neither one is overwhelming. I feel like both parts are about as well as done as, you can expect.
Hello, I'm Alan Carr, the world's leading expert on stopping smoking. Tell me what your favorite food is. Let's do chicken. I love chicken. Can you tell me the name of a friend who is a non-smoker? Fucking Matt. I think Matt's gonna be my sponsor now. Okay, let's talk about your addiction. That's why we're here. Could you tell me how many cigarettes you smoke per day on average? Please be honest. Okay. How many years have you been a smoker? Keep going. Now that we know how much you smoke, let's visualize this. Okay. What are we visualizing? Holy crap! I've smoked 23,360 cigarettes. And if I continue at my current rate, I will have smoked 219,000 by the time I'm 85. That is a huge quantity. Now imagine the impact on your life when you get free.
David, guess what I am? Guess what I am?
Crackhead?
No, I'm a Hellcat.
Crazy Tana?
No.
Wow. That was so not good.
I know.
One of the things that threw me off initially playing multiplayer is kind of like the slow turning radius you have when you're turning and shooting guys from the side. And you can definitely turn that up, and it does help, but it seems to me that Guerrilla doesn't want you doing a lot of turning and firing. Like, this game is very linear, and that's actually not an insult. I think it's intelligently designed that way, in that pretty much every time you have enemies coming at you, generally they're in a fairly narrow field of view.
A cone of fire. Then a really defined cone of fire for you.
So you don't have to do a lot of the turning here, turning there. There are a couple situations where you do, but generally you don't have to. And I think it's definitely designed like that intentionally. I think one thing they're going for in this game, and I think they've gotten right, is the kind of the general confusion of war and a battlefield, where there's shit blowing up everywhere, there's enemies everywhere, and sometimes it's easy to get confused on where you need to go because of that.
Sometimes I made a mistake of saving, quitting, and coming back the next day, I come back and it took me like maybe 5 minutes to figure out like where am I supposed to go because I'm like all the doors look alike.
Well, I'm gonna give you a pro tip.
This helped me a lot.
If you hit up on the D-pad, it sets a waypoint for where you're supposed to be going.
Without it, you'd be totally lost. And you were saying that the interface is really clean, so.
Yeah, I actually disagree about getting lost. I found myself almost never getting lost in the game, but I always assumed I was going the wrong way, but I never was.
See that? I mean, we disagree on that. Like, you like that, but I don't like that because I like feeling like I'm going the right way. And this just, I do feel a little bit lost. And I think that's the difference between liking like realism and liking like a game that's made to be a game. And I think that's a big key differentiator here is it's like, you have to like realism to like Killzone as a shooter because that's what it is in all like the gun mechanics and everything, like the recoil, the basic like movement. It's like, you have to work for each kill. One of my biggest problems with the game is that I don't really think the Hellcast are a fun enemy to fight. I think it's one thing shooting aliens, it's one thing shooting like people whose faces you can see. They're just kind of these, you know, cloaked like space Nazis, like you said. And yeah, they're a little plain and they're not scary. That's pretty much all you're fighting the whole game. The enemy encounters are designed well enough, generally. It's a lot of like we said, taking cover and waiting for them to show themselves. In general, the enemy encounters remind me a lot of Call of Duty. I mean, the whole game does. Like, we've heard for a while that Infinity Ward might be like making a sci-fi thing.
I made that comparison before. Watch out.
I know. So, well, single player at least.
But like, how does it remind you of Call of Duty?
Just the general, like you said, there's this, like, you will get to an area and stop, and there'll be guys behind bits of cover, and you'll have to take them out. And a lot of times, the game doesn't advance until you do. Your squad will be behind you, and you'll have to make some progress forward, and then everyone will run and catch up with you.
Right.
I kind of had a problem with the fact that you couldn't toggle crouch. That really bothered me a lot. Just holding down the button.
Yeah, not only can you not toggle crouch, is you can't toggle, or you have to toggle iron sight. I mean, this is getting kind of technical, but it is an annoyance. Is that you can map the iron sights to L1,
which is what I did because the game just felt more comfortable for me.
But
moving
then
it from
L2 is crouch. You can put it on circle if you want. But either way, it's either like you're doing this with a controller, or it's just, I don't know. It's awkward either way. I think it's not ideal.
And it's only a situation when you are taking cover.
Yeah, I only use iron sights when behind cover. Like I kind of use it when I'm on the move, but I pretty much like 9% of the time iron sights are when I'm actually crouched behind something, taking the time to be stationary, not worrying about the toggle thing. And when I'm usually moving around, I'm almost always firing from the hip.
The combat is a lot more like loose. It's like you swing over here and kind of shoot this area, and it's not pinpoint by any means.
What I find that worked most often for me is when I had a lot of guys is just kind of Battlefield style where you crouch, pull up your iron sights, take one guy out, take two guy out, take three guy out, and then move forward.
All the basic weapons I thought were like all kind of similar in most of their uses. I mean, I'm sure people will end up appreciating some more than others, but I thought actually the more like periphery weapons were more interesting. Like the flamethrower is really cool because, like you were saying, you can arc to get guys at a distance. But just in general, like it's funny the reactions towards
basically to hit guys from a distance. It shoots out this little stream of like flammable liquid. You basically have to aim it like you're peeing in the snow to take guys out at a distance.
The sniper rifle is cool because there's 2 levels of zoom, but you also have to keep the 6-axis steady while you're playing, and like you were showing me, you can fine tune it as well and use that to aim a little bit if you're a tiny bit off. So it's tough, but it is satisfying.
That's what I did. I felt like that worked
There's
fine.
one thing that I like about this game that isn't in Call of Duty, since we keep like making comparisons. You can like take cover, and then if you aim on a certain enemy and then like come out of cover, like your sight's still there, and I like that a lot.
I'm guessing the entire game was going to be about 8 or 9 hours, which, like, whatever. That's comparable to a lot of other first-person shooters.
Yeah.
I think so, because I think it seems like in the 6th level that things are ramping up a little bit, and it seems like the level's you're out of the city, you're in kind of a desert environment. It's something different than you haven't seen before, and I feel like maybe you're going to be going different places even further in the game.
And I'm curious if they are still polishing the visuals, because like I've said, it's totally gorgeous. Like it is.
I don't think it really needs much polishing.
No, I don't think so.
There's this one encounter when you're fighting across this bridge, and there's so many particles going on. There's explosions going everywhere. There are tanks flowing through. There's at least 20 or 30 enemies, not even counting your AI guys, and it's rock solid.
And it's also like this game is like really cinematic just by virtue of the presentation. Like it doesn't actually do a lot of scripted stuff, like little cool touches to be cinematic, but it just looks and sounds, and the presentation is great that it's like playing it, it's like just very immersive doing that. Even like that's what made me want to play. Really, is I wasn't a huge fan of the mechanics or the encounters, any of that. Like I said, I didn't really think it was fun per se, but I wanted to keep playing just because it was like immersive. I mean, I think in general, like your interactions with your squad mates and the story in general, I think is pretty dismissible. Like,
really, how many games like? Count the number of games that the stories are not dismissible. That's
a
much smaller number.
Trust me, I'm not saying there's a high standard for it. I'm just saying that this is one of those so that people are aware. One more weapon I want to mention as well, which you get you get at the last level of our 6 level. We have the first 6 levels, and I'm sad you don't get it earlier in the game because that's by far the most fun. Is just the bolt rifle, bolt gun. Okay.
Yeah.
So it kind of works like in Crackdown, where you shoot and you can pin a guy to a wall, but then it explodes.
Yeah.
So and like actually both these guys were watching me, and we there was like a guy coming around a corner and a explosive barrel against the wall, and I mean this was accidental, but I shot him, pinned him to the barrel, which then immediately blew up, and it was like very satisfying. That's really fun.
For me, like a good barometer of a game is just not wanting to put it down. And for me, when I was playing it over the weekend at home, I didn't want to put it down. I did want to keep playing it. And when the demo stopped, I actually was disappointed because I wanted to keep playing it. And for me, like a lot of games don't do that right.
I got a rocket launcher.
Yeah?
I'm loading it up with books.
Right on.
Just shooting everybody in the face with a book.
Taking out super mutants?
No, well, they can't read. It's a Fallout drive for literacy.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man?
Nice day, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Kind of.
It's alright.
I think so.
You need a bum one? Or?
No, I'm fine. I am fine. In fact, I'm great. Really great. Let me ask you a question, Peter.
Oh God, it's not Jesus, is it?
How many cigarettes would you say you smoke a day?
7.
7, okay. How long have you been smoking?
Like 8 years.
8 years, okay. That's how many cigarettes you've smoked so far.
Oh, shit.
Today. And by the time you're 85,
shit, man.
Yeah. Put that in your mouth and smoke it. Think about that, right? Sharky? How many? Be honest.
Somewhere between 30 and 40.
30 and 40. A day.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cigarettes. How long?
It started when I was 12, so 18 years, I guess.
Oh my goodness. You were the winner today.
That's all.
That's all.
I thought that would have been more.
That is a huge number.
Man,
Look at 85. You're like over a quarter of a million cigarettes.
It's like 3 times mine.
It's a lot to think about.
I bought my house with camel cash.
That's what I'm saying. Think about it. Think about it here. Think about it here. Okay?
Is there a leaderboard for that? Achievement unlocked, cancer?
Jump!
So you guys like Prince of Persia, right?
Yeah, Last Generation, that was like one of my favorite trilogies next to GTA.
First of all, I'm a sucker for the graphics because I love the graphical style. Watching the cutscenes is just a total treat.
What is it that you want?
Huh?
She offered you your dreams.
Sure, and how long would that have lasted? I just want to get out of here. I want to find my donkey and I want to go home. What about you? What do you want?
Things to be as they were. We can't go back the way we came.
I like the voice acting. You know, I like the fact that the prince is kind of a dirty little scumbag, but you know, he's got that kind of like almost Indiana Jones kind of feel.
We've got to climb all the way up this, haven't we?
There's a mechanism partway up that will take us to the top.
And I'll go first. But hey, you're staring at my ass. I felt you looking.
I thought you'd lost your ass.
Donkey.
I also like games that give you like an AI partner. You know, Alec is like an upgraded Yorda from Eco.
What I liked about it, she was never in your way. She's
Right.
never annoying, and you know, you never feel like, God, I wish this person was like, she never hinders you from playing the game. She only helps you, and I thought that was really successful.
You never feel like, oh, I've got baggage. You know, If you jump on a vine, you start climbing a wall, you know, she's just there and the animations take care of itself. And I like how they like, you know, change place on the vines, you know.
When I would jump on the vines, I would let go of the control for a second and wait until the prince had grabbed her and thrown her on the back.
Right.
Like, okay, now
I'm more like, I want to keep moving. You catch up to me. Like, I remember the last game when I would go in a room, I'd see something up there, like I have to get up there. I gotta figure out how. There's some pipes, there's poles to swing on, things to jump on, walls to run on. I felt real accomplishment getting up there. Here, you know, I know I'm gonna make it, and it's just a matter of hitting the right buttons at the right times.
It's almost like playing a long QuickTime event, going through a sequence
pretty
where you get
much
into,
is.
because you basically have 4 different buttons. You see this object or this texture or this like plate, you know, magic plate to get you somewhere else. You essentially, all you need to do is tap that button or hold down that button when you get to that point.
How do you feel about like the bailout maneuver?
How you can't die in this game.
Please try not to fall off things.
They got rid of the whole rewind time thing, which you know was kind of the calling card of the last series, and now they have it so your partner just kind of always saves you. And you know, it's cool. It makes you take leaps you wouldn't normally take, and it gives you that safety net. But you know, it also makes it seem easy. And like at times, I think we all kind of described it as. It seems like the game can be like an autopilot sometimes. If there's a ring up there, I'm gonna hit B. If there's you know, a wall, I'm gonna hit A to jump off of it. And it's just like figuring out the next right button. And knowing if you miss, you're just gonna restart it all over again. And so while it looks really good and animations are great, you have that autopilot feel.
Ryan put it really well, saying he almost felt kind of cheated within this movement. There's not a whole lot you can do. You collect light seeds, or you're just making your way up to that fertile area to fight the boss and Okami the place out and make it all beautiful again. And that's really all you can do.
The light seeds don't actually bother me because a lot of them are like on the main path that you would normally take to get out of the level anyway. But I actually like the ones that are kind of off the main path because it does add that little bit of the puzzle element that you're talking about.
Well, I was kind of bummed. At first, I was pretty anal about getting all of them, and I didn't have a problem opening the next section. But there are times when, like, if you kind of slack on that, you have to get like 80 more light seeds to open up the next level. And I'm like, why is it stopping me? Why can't I just continue playing? You know, it seemed like pretty artificial. There's no reason why I need to get these seeds just to play the next level when there's still like, you know, 10 levels to go or something. I just want to keep playing.
You know, towards the end, after I collect a lot of light seeds, I just felt like I was going through the motions. As fun as it was still to play, I was just looking for maybe a little more things to get thrown at me to kind of challenge me within these mechanics.
What do you guys think about the Elika's compass power? So if you walk into a room and you pick wherever next destination you want, and then you know this light comes out of her and it shoots across what you have to do. I used it constantly, and it goes along this wall, then it jumps to this other platform. Like it shows you exactly where to go, where there is that kills that challenge.
Kind of nice because it keeps the frustration factor low because, you know, there are a lot of times, for example, in an RPG where you just really don't know where you're supposed to go next, you know, and that's just annoying. On that level, I appreciate it. On the other hand, on the flip side, its implementation says to me is that the game isn't as elegantly designed as it could be in naturally leading the gamer to the next area.
In any open world game, the issue you have is, you know, you need to have something that tells the player where to go next. And in most cases, it's an auto map. And a lot of people complain about auto maps because they're looking at the map instead of looking at the game. And so in this situation, I kind of feel like it's almost a nice balance where I can just, you know, Dead Space did it well, where you can tap a button and it'll just, if you want to, it's totally up to you, and it'll kind of just right there in the game give you a sort of visual representation. And with this, what I did to kind of make more fun out of it, as soon as I would let that little beam go and watch it go, I'd start chasing after it and try to keep up with it as much as I could before I would have to use it again. And that way kind of just created this own little meta game for me to enjoy
You
it.
made your own little mini game.
I did. I made my own little like Prince of Persia mini game, and it was fun to do it that way.
Elika!
Don't worry, I'm ready.
To me, the combat in Prince of Persia seems like it's there to fill space.
The combat here is exclusively one-on-one, which, I don't know, it's not as fun. And it just seems like I'm just block, 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 strike, you know, block, block, throw Elika at them.
It's the levels in Prince of Persia that are your real enemy. Like that's what that's where the challenge is. The enemies are just kind of, they feel like an afterthought. It's like, oh, well, here we've got a big open space, so let's put something in there. So here's this one guy you fight.
Well, I put something in just to fill space, though. And to me, it just ruined the flow of the game, and it just, it just wasn't fun.
I actually really liked it. I mean, I like the combat in Assassin's Creed, and I like the fact that these are one-on-one fights. To me, they're much more, dramatic in that way. The fact that the mechanics are more about timing as opposed to just, mashing a bunch of buttons together. I like that a lot more. Like, it feels more rewarding.
When you get a flow going and start doing 12 or 13 hit combos with it, I felt that same sort of like motion and same sort of like momentum that you develop even when you're moving. And the thing I liked about it too is that, after a while of climbing around and collecting light seeds and just exploring the world, I kind of welcomed when I ran into the combat because it gave me something else to do. Like at that point, I was kind of in the mood to hit stuff.
It's wall climbing and platforming, and then combat. They feel totally separate. Like, I wish I could have, been running along a wall and, had to fight some aerial enemies and, mix it up a little bit, integrate it more into the actual platform. I mean, it sounds like we're complaining about the game a lot, but we still gave it relatively high scores.
I really enjoyed playing it, yeah.
And I think it's a good reboot for the series.
I like the direction this is going. I just want to see them do more with the environments other than giving these huge playgrounds essentially for me to move around in. Like I said, after the first area, I'm like, boy, it would be awesome if there was like a chase sequence or something of that effect, or something happening to Elika that would, like, after you're further in the game, to kind of give some more emotionally charged sequences. I thought would have been really good.
The only reason why I have disappointment in this game is because I held the previous games up so highly, and I think this is a step below them. Like I said, it's a little bit more autopilot-y, and it's not quite as hardcore, and it just, like, the satisfaction isn't as high. But I enjoyed my whole trip through the whole world. Like, I really enjoyed the game throughout. But now it just seems like compared to each thing against the previous game, maybe besides the graphics, I think it's just like a step below it.
For me, it's not as good as Sands of Time. Like, I love Sands of Time. Like, I think, it was one of the most vastly overlooked games the last generation. And this game is a step in the right direction towards kind of reestablishing this franchise in the broader perspective of the gaming populace. Like, it's a little bit more friendly. The characters will probably appeal a little bit more.
Right.
As the game went on, like, both he and Elika had really good back and forth moments and things like that. And I'm actually kind of surprised. I mean, I was kind of worried that maybe, this wasn't really going to work out for them, that this is the wrong direction that they should be taking it in, but I really enjoyed it a lot.
Hey, Fresh. Fresh.
Yeah.
How's your piece coming, man?
It's going great.
Yeah?
Yeah, really good.
Cool. All right.
It's got
Yeah, let me see.
Start on yeah, it's
Where's
I'm
where's
noticing
Final Cut?
that Final Cut isn't open here.
Well, it was open, and then it stopped being open, and I had to like
It crashed?
It crashed.
It crashed. There you go. Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
crashed.
That's a hard word to remember.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You
Very hard word to remember there, Ryan. Yeah.
So I'm.
So
let's
how's
see this piece.
It was let's go ahead and.
Wow, you've done next to nothing there.
Wow, there's you have a timeline.
A lot
That's
of it.
a start.
A lot of it's in here in my head.
Right.
So, like,
Usually
done.
we like it
It's done
in
here.
there in the computer.
So it's right.
So yeah, how about how's this going for you?
This is going
that's
really well,
yeah, it's going
actually.
really well.
It's come a long way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the
learn to stop smoke, huh?
they have this mini game
Yeah.
that you're a guy and you
Right.
have to get diamonds in a cave. And the diamonds are a metaphor for how your addiction is weighing you down.
Did you beat the game?
You don't really win, I don't think.
I'm starting to think that this is affecting your work.
No, I'm totally getting
I think
work
you
done.
might be doing this instead of smoking,
That's
and
ridiculous.
instead of working, and I think even instead of peeing.
It does kind of smell like urine over here.
I'm gonna take this back now.
Matt, no, that's mine.
But
it's mine. I need it.
No, it's not yours.
It
It's
is-
Ubisoft. It's a ROM. We have to give it back to them. Don't worry, dude. You can go buy it in stores. You can. It'll be out soon. Don't worry about it. No.
Matt.
I have to give it back. Sorry.
Seriously, I need it, man. I need it. God damn it.
Are
Did
you
you
gonna-
talk to them?
It's not even yours. I don't know what the problem is. Are you gonna finish your segment now?
I'm gonna start. I'll get.
Fine. Here. take those, go smoke a couple, and then come back inside and finish your fucking segment, alright?
Smoke a couple?
Yeah. Dude, you're fucking hopeless, man. Just finish your
What am
segment.
I? Screw it.